Hey everybody, boo. We're here. Monday afternoon. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm feeding back a bit. Do you hear me?
Just a little bit, yeah.
It's gone away now. All right, so we are going to do 2 shows today early because we have things we got to get done. So,
What? You have a life besides this? You aren't just always sitting right there.
Open house at Pam's school tonight. So Mallory and I are going to go catch dinner on our own and just enjoy Monday night. It's weird.
There you go.
Podcasting on Monday night, so it'll be kind of nice.
I know.
Open house season. It's already almost October. Can't believe it.
That's crazy. Hannah came home the other day and she said, "Mom, is it okay to not like a fourth grader very much?" I said, yes. I said it will happen many times over in your career.
You're not a real teacher until you have nightmares about one of your students.
They were giving her a hard time.
My very first class when I taught second grade. Because that was the class where I took over in January because the teacher literally left. She dropped them off at PE class. It was her hour, plan period. She just left and never came back. So that's
she was like, "I'm out."
Exactly. So yes, Rallman walks in and takes over the class for the rest of the year from January on, and I knew why. But I went home every day just like, I spent 4 years in college to do this. I can't do it. I can't do it. They're gonna kill me.
I know she had a rough day, but
they come and they go. All right, so let's do. Let's get this question up. All right, let's do listener questions. We'll take some from the chat too if y'all want to throw some in. Hello, Bev. Thanks for joining us. This is not the breakfast crew. This is the lunch hour. Mm-hmm. Soft, the quiet storm lunch hour or something. I don't know.
I know. And you don't even have Taco Bell or anything.
I will later.
Is that where you're taking Mallory to Taco Bell?
Taco Bell too. I'm raising her right.
Here, I have the water thingy.
I just have my Coke Zero standing by. The official beverage of SEC football. All right, here we go with listener questions. Got the levels. We got 1386.
Okay.
Ricky
is Bev, you're on deck. You're the only one there right now that's checking us out. So you have to think of questions.
Now there's people in there. They're just not. I guess they're
not commenting.
Their bosses are like over their shoulder. They're just I know how that is. I was the best when I was teaching it. When I taught 6th grade, before I went to the Gifted Center, I downloaded so much Disney music because they had the fast internet at school.
Your school's under investigation.
This was way back in the 90s, dude. They had like a T1 line. I was like, I am not on dial up here, baby.
That's awesome.
My students hacked my computer. I don't know what happened there. Throw them under the bus because they're only 12. They aren't going to jail. Here we go. Let's see. So let's go.
Did you get your new phone?
I did. It's huge.
I know, mine's coming.
There it is.
It's supposed to be here today or tomorrow, I think.
Right. Can you see it? Right. It's
yeah.
Hang on. Disney Cruise Line, the funnel.
Oh.
That's been my home screen for my phone for like 4 phones. I love the Face ID. I've never had that. That's funny. And I love the emojis. I send them to everybody.
I can't wait. I got to get mine and I got to get it all ready before I go to Hawaii.
Oh, they're so fun. Okay, here we go. And yes, Joanne, Haley's napping. I should be napping. It'd be a good day to nap. It's kind of cloudy.
No napping.
I know. Haley was looking so cute at Whispering Canyon the other night with all the ketchups. Oh, man. That made me hungry though again. Okay, here we go.
Guy.
Yes, 1386. All right.
Okay. Let's do it.
You just Rickied me.
Sorry.
Here we go. 1386. Welcome to episode 1386 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. I hope that week is cruising right along. Maybe you got a pumpkin spice latte in your hand because it is okay to have that now. Hear me when my camera goes out? Could you hear me talking even when the camera dropped?
No.
You can't hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so you couldn't hear. I don't know why all of a sudden my camera went out. Hang on, I'll do it again. Practice. That was weird. All of a sudden I looked up my camera. My camera was on my preview, but it wasn't on the screen.
I know. All of a sudden you went away and my picture got big.
It's weird.
And I'm like, it's my time to shine.
Well, because it was still going to be fine on the podcast, but you wouldn't have been able to hear what I was saying, so it wouldn't have worked very well.
That would have been awkward. You would have had to hold up on a piece of paper the things that you said.
Let's try it again. Okay, that was practice. Practice makes perfect. Here we go. Cross fingers. Stay running. Here we go. Welcome to episode 1386 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope that you're doing well, and maybe today finds you with a pumpkin spice latte in your hand because it is now officially fall. So that is approved. You can do that. Now, those people that jumped in August, too soon, but you're cool now. Bust out the Uggs. It's still probably 92 degrees where you are, but as soon as the calendar says fall, I've been on a college campus, man. I'm telling you, everybody at Mizzou last weekend, they were dressed like it was, like they were going to Antarctica just because the calendar said fall. It was still hot. I mean, I got sunburned. Look at me right now in the Be Live. I got a red face because it was blazing hot, but it's fall. So enjoy those Uggs, ladies, whatever. All right. So joining me today to answer your listener questions, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Pam, how are you doing on this Wednesday?
Happy fall. It's actually chilly here. I did have my first pumpkin spice latte because I am so basic, but I'm really not a Starbucks coffee drink. I mean, it's fine. I like it. I'm not like one of those I hate Starbucks people because I know that there are people who don't like it, but I don't like to pay $5 for coffee. So I don't drink that much. But I do make pumpkin spice lattes at home here in the comfort of my own home with some lovely syrups that I buy on Amazon through the Be Our Guest podcast link, of course.
Yes, I've never had a coffee. I've never had a coffee in my life. I tasted it once. It was too bitter, and I just go on to Coke Zero, and I'm good to go. And I drink my world supply of that. I can tell you that.
Well, we're basic at my house, so we like everything pumpkin. It's okay. I'm okay with being basic. I am kind of a basic girl, so
we're so hip. That saying was from a minute ago.
A hot minute ago.
That's right. And this show's going to be Gucci, just so you know. Valerie taught me that one this week. All right. Anyway, let's get to your listener questions. Thanks to everybody in the live chat, including my good friend Jonathan, the Monkey Man up in Canada, who got to meet up with Ricky, who's not with us today because she's on the Disney Magic. I think Ricky is considering becoming a Canadian citizen, last I heard, because of the great cupcakes from Jonathan's bakery, and they were awesome. They were just awesome. There was a Be Our Guest podcast cupcake that I just wanted to bite into so badly because I know it had to taste great, but it was a picture, so I couldn't. So I was sad. Anyway, speaking of Canada, our first question comes from Canada today. It's from Rochelle. She says, big dilemma, Illuminations or Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. Dear Mike, Pam, and Ricky, I first listened to a Be Our Guest podcast a year ago and have been hooked ever since. It's almost like Jonathan's cupcakes. One bite and you're hooked. That's it, from what I've heard. Almost as much as the answers. I love hearing the banter back and forth between the three of you and your genuine love of Disney. Well, thank you. When I heard Disney was going to be sunsetting Illuminations, I was like, poor Mike. Did you shed a tear, Mike? I know how much you love that nighttime spectacular. Okay, let me take a break from the email because I do have to give my 2 cents. I love Illuminations in the strongest way possible. But I've had time to reflect on it. The good thing about this is, and Pam, maybe you'll agree with me on this. I think we've known this is coming for, say, 2 years minimum. I mean, I've kind of had, it wasn't sudden. Like, this was going to happen, and it was actually, I think Illuminations has hung on a lot longer than I expected. So I think that's making it slightly easier.
Yeah, it was like the sudden 20-year gap. Not sudden at all.
I don't know. So it's one of those things that I think nowadays it's much easier to see something like this, go away in favor of something new with newer technology, just an overall new experience, an updated experience that maybe fits the park's message a little bit tighter as to how the park is. Just because now we have, I'll always have the music in various forms. I'll always have the videos. There's always going to be a way to, you're not going to firsthand experience it, which is kind of sad, but you'll have a lot of ways to share that and be able to go back. And the thing that I have with Illuminations is the memories and the friends I've got to see it with in different points. I mean, that show was perfect for the millennium. The millennium celebration was incredible. I was lucky to be down there during that time, and it was perfect for that. And for that reason, I miss Tapestry of Dreams and Nations, both versions of that parade. That was an amazing time to be at Walt Disney World, but I have the memories in my heart. So, it's going. So I just, I'm not going to chain myself, like I said years ago, to the Earth globe and get arrested. I'm not doing that this time. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, back to the email. This news has caused a big dilemma for me and my sister. We're heading to Walt Disney World with our families the first week of December to experience Christmas at the World for the very first time. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, resort hopping to see the decorations, and the candlelight processional. Aside from holiday wishes at the Magic Kingdom the night of Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, we only have one other park day to enjoy a nighttime spectacular. Since this trip was supposed to be about experiencing Christmas at Walt Disney World, we were going to see the candlelight processional at Epcot, then park hop to Hollywood Studios to close out the night with Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. But with the announcement that Illuminations is ending, we are wondering if we should stay in Epcot to see Illuminations. We only go every few years to Walt Disney World and won't be back before Illuminations ends. My family saw it years ago, and I just loved it. But my sister's family and our dad have not. I'm really torn, as we are there to experience Christmas and wonder if we should stick with the plan to see Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. At the same time, I would love for my sister's family and our dad to see Illuminations, as I hear there's a holiday tag added on for Christmas. What do you think we should do? Rochelle's up in Kingston, Canada. She says, by the way, your lizards have inspired me to start running again. Maybe our next trip after this one will be for a half marathon. Well, good job, Rochelle. Keep running, and we'll see you at the starting line in the corrals. Man, this email, I didn't even want to read this email because it is like, I don't know. There's a lot of times I just don't. Okay, so I'll let you go first, because I kind of do, now that I think about it. What do you think? Would you do Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam or Illuminations?
So last year, Disney had added a lot of new decorations at Hollywood Studios. And it just totally transformed the way that Hollywood Studios looks at night. And I would hate for you to miss that on a trip where you're going to sort of focus on all the holiday stuff. I mean, it really is spectacular. It looks very retro. It feels very kitschy. It looks like the 50s primetime sort of blew up all over. You know what I mean? It looks like it does. It does, though. It's all very retro and very cool. It's like, I don't know. It's like all the decorations I remember my grandparents having, stuff like that. So I love it. And I really love Hollywood Studios at night, especially at the holidays. I think it's just such a cool thing to do. So I think if you're really embracing that holiday theme and you want to stick with it, then just go and experience Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. I think that it will just help make that sort of complete. And the thing is, like Mike mentioned, you can listen to Illuminations, you can watch Illuminations on YouTube and other places. You can, see it so many places, and don't look at it as if you're missing one thing in favor of another. I think just look at it with you have goals for this trip, and I think just stick with it.
Yes. And this show, I know we're terrible about this, because here's my thing. Okay. So when you're making your Venn diagram or your T table or whatever you're doing to make a good decision, because I'm a former teacher and you got to have graphic organizers for everything in your life.
Yes.
It's still in my heart, even though I haven't taught for a couple of years. Here's the thing about, I would say to make a proper choice for your trip is that with Illuminations is awesome in itself. The holiday tag is incredible because it's Walter Cronkite. That is what I'm going to really miss. Here's what I'm going to miss about Illuminations, probably more than any other thing, is the holiday tag with Walter Cronkite and being in World Showcase, surrounded by people from all around the globe. I love that feeling that World Showcase represents a global community, but if you just look around, you're hearing people speaking different languages. You're seeing people that look different than you, but everybody's there for a common goal. Everybody kind of has a love for Disney. Everybody's there on vacation. Everybody's having the time of their lives. And that is truly kind of like what the planet should be. Like Epcot's a microcosm of what the whole planet should be, expanded out beyond the borders. So what I'm going to miss, and this is something I can't duplicate on YouTube, is the feeling that I get. Like I always get goosebumps with the holiday tag at Illuminations during the holidays. It's incredible. Like, it's just, we talk about peace on earth and goodwill toward man. I mean, it's like, whoa, that one, just thinking about it right now, I'm getting goosebumps. I love that part of Illuminations during the holidays. I'd hate for you to miss that. But Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam is fun. So if you're going to put like a describer next to each one, Illuminations, kind of emotional and moving and very powerful. Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, visual, fun, exciting, new, and then you get the overall, kitschiness of the park at the holidays. So really, you can't go wrong with either. It's just, you're going to be moved if you see the holiday tag at Illuminations. You're going to have fun if you go over to Studios. What do you think, Pam? Is that a good description? Because I don't know which one. It's kind of either way.
No, it's actually a really hard decision, even for me, that has seen probably Illuminations no less, no lie, than 1,000 times. So, I mean,
you're actually officially licensed to be on the Inferno barge if you want to be.
I got a credential and everything. when I walk in, they give me a button. They're like, "I'm celebrating seeing Illuminations for the 1,001th time."
Illuminations 1K, baby.
So, anyways, but there's just something about embracing all the holiday stuff that I think is really fun too. So like Mike said, you absolutely cannot make a wrong choice. We hope we want to see your diagram. So please take a picture of it and send it to us, post it on the FaceTube or something so that we can see it.
We will share on all social media channels. All right. Next email comes from Mike in New Jersey. Mike and gang. I'm going to be traveling for work in the Orlando area in October and plan on swinging by the boardwalk to see Illuminations one last time on October 17th. It's going away next summer, and our next Walt Disney World trip isn't until the spring of 2020. Illuminations is my all-time favorite fireworks, and I simply cannot pass up the opportunity to at least catch a small glimpse of it before it's gone. My question is about dining. Can you recommend as a good dinner spot before Illuminations in the boardwalk area without an ADR? Any lounges or unique dining options? I appreciate the recommendations and keep up the great podcasts, Mike. All right, so he's going to try to catch the tippy tops of Illuminations from the boardwalk, I'm guessing, without going into the park. You can hear the music if you get close enough. You're not going to see a lot of Illuminations, but you will see some of it, and it's all about the experience. Illuminations will appreciate you being there. I mean, that's the whole thing, is the Illumination spirit will know that Mike is on the other side of the fence, and he loves you. So that's the whole thing we're saying goodbye, and blow it a kiss or something. Where should Mike eat before Illuminations without an ADR in the boardwalk area to get some good eats?
So for me, I think I'm going to head over to the Cruise Cup at the Yacht Club. It's right there by the boardwalk. The boardwalk and the Yacht Club and the Beach Club are very close to each other. It's the little loop around that whole area is less than a mile, I think, for the whole loop. So really close in the same area. And the Yacht Club, I think, has one of the better choices for the lounge. Cruise Cup's a great lounge. The other place that we've eaten there, and actually we had a drink with you and Pam there, was Ale and Compass Lounge. And Steve and I, of course, it hasn't been open that long, but you can bet that the Foresters have had a whole meal there because, I am lax in making our own ADRs. So we were in the position where we were at the Yacht Club and we hadn't made any ADRs and didn't know where we were going to eat. And actually Ale and Compass has a nice lounge menu there too. So they have some good food choice options. You could try that too. Unfortunately, Abracadabra, soon after opening, stopped really selling any food with, so you can't really order food there. You can get a drink. Flying Fish does have a counter that sometimes is available, but sometimes is not. And it's a pricier meal. And then Beaches and Cream still does walk-ups sometimes, but the wait can be quite long for that. So I wouldn't try that either. The other place you can try is maybe Big River Grill.
They don't take ADRs, do they?
No, they don't take ADRs. So you can try that one. I think they don't take ADRs.
They do. I don't think they do.
Okay. All right. I was like, last time I looked, I didn't think they did. But you can try that. But it's a lot of, I think you'd be happier with one of the other choices is what I'm trying to say. I think the Big River is an interesting concept, but the menu has been the same for about 10 years or so. I mean, there really aren't that many additions to it. And I think it just needs a little zhuzh. So,
or even ESPN is a single. You could probably get up to the bar pretty quick and just order food from the bar. I might do that.
For sure.
All right. Good luck and tell Illuminations goodbye from Mike, even though I'll be there over not Wine and Dine for a marathon. So I'll be watching it then. All right. The next question actually is about Wine and Dine. It's titled Wine and Dine Shenanigans. It's from Emily. Hey, BOGP crew. I know you guys are so busy, but I need some advice on 2 things for my upcoming Disney trip. I'm a seasoned Disney traveler. Number 1, I'm running the Wine and Dine half marathon in just 40 days, and my kids, 4 and 2, are running the kids races on Saturday. Right now, I'm planning on going to doing Hollywood Studios Saturday after the kids' races and hoping to make it until the Star Wars fireworks and Epcot and Magic Kingdom on Sunday after my race. Do you think this is a mistake? Should I change to doing Hollywood Studios on Sunday and Epcot Magic Kingdom on Saturday? I cannot get a fast pass for Slinky Dog any day or time the whole time I'm there, November 2nd through the 8th. So that is a working problem as my son is dying to ride it. Any advice on how to get on Slinky Dog without waiting forever in the standby line? Okay, first of all, let's stop there. Just got a second question. It's going to be tough because you can't do rope drop because you're going to be at the races both days. So that does make it tough. I will say, and we've said this many times on the podcast, Ricky scores on this a lot. Keep checking My Disney Experience for those fast passes because they pop up just at random times. If you're sitting on the couch at night watching the news, grab your phone, refresh, and modify the number of people sometimes. That just mess with your variables, your factors. And I don't understand exactly the nuances of the My Disney Experience system other than if you do something weird, sometimes you get lucky. It's like a slot machine, so just play with it, play with your time windows, play with that, and Ricky gets them all the time. I'm not as crazy as she is. She does it kind of all the time. I think maybe she has more free time on her hands. I don't know because I never get them, but she does. So Pam, what would you say to that? Because, and as far as going to the parks after the races, I think you're going to be fine. That's good. So I think your park days are fine. What about getting that Slinky Dogs? That's the elusive, that and Flight of Passage.
No, it is. Those are the 2 rough ones. The other thing you may want to try is to plan on being at Hollywood Studios near closing time, and see if you can get in line, near closing time. They sort of, I think the term they use is stack that line. They sort of make the line look longer than it is, so that they can close sort of on time. Because if you're in line, even if the park closes, they'll still let you ride the attraction. And the other thing is make sure there's no evening extra magic hours when you're going to be there, because that's still a great benefit for guests. So take advantage of those too. But try the evening thing to see. The great news is if you want a Toy Story Fast Pass, it's available because all day long with the Toy Story Fast Pass. But and the thing about the Slinky Dog attraction is that the line's cute. I mean, there are lots of things to look at and see and do. It sort of looks like a normal line, but if you really are looking around, you can see some really unique things. So enjoy it.
It's super cute when the sun's not out in July.
I know.
It's going to make getting a fast pass to Slinky Dog easier. Galaxy's Edge opening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know it will be like, what percentage of Disney's Hollywood studio attractions are in the tier 1? It's like, because right now it seems like 50%.
Yes, I hear you.
So there's a lot.
All right. Her second question is also, I need some advice on where we should have dinner Saturday night. I always say Las Fuentes. No, wait, I think she's talking about her trip. Sorry. I wanted something a little nicer because my mom will be with us for the weekend to watch the races. And I also want to make sure I can carb load for the race on Sunday. I love when we talk about carb loading as runners. That's really just an excuse just to pig out because you're running. I'm all about it. I do that almost every day. That's why I run so much. They're staying at the Dolphin. They've never stayed there before, but got a great deal. And it's so close to Epcot that I'm digging that. We have ADRs at Sanaa, Homecoming, and Coral Reef for the rest of our time in Disney. I just want Saturday night to be either by the Dolphin or in Hollywood Studios if I keep to the plan to stay there for the day on Saturday. I don't want flying fish or anything too fancy. Just want to have a full belly and a nice ambiance. Where would you go? Disney Springs? As you know, it's going to be crowded. I'm having trouble finding reservations that I'm actually going to be excited about. Thanks so much. Love listening to the podcast on my runs to get me ready for the half. Getting me so excited. Emily is in Monroe, New Jersey. 932 miles from me, 321 from Pam, and 811 from Ricky. All right, so let's get her some carb load. Nice, not too far away dining for Saturday night, pre-half marathon on Sunday. I'm going to throw out, this is my pick, Trattoria Al Forno, because it's on the board. It's on the boardwalk. It's got carbs. It's got pastas. It's got a nice ambiance. I think your mom would like it. And you can just hop, skip, and a jump back to the Dolphin. What do you think, Pam?
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. I didn't even think of that one. The other one I will suggest, I'll give a little, again, to Ale and Compass, but not the lounge. They actually have a restaurant. You could try that one. They have some interesting dishes. They're tweaking, they're making some changes, but we've had some good meals there. The other thing you may want to consider is Cape May. I mean, not exactly carb loading, but it certainly is buffet style loading in that you have a plethora of choices.
That ADR is just a little fishy.
That's bad. So you can definitely try that one. Look at the menu, see if that appeals to you. They have items that appeal to those who like seafood and those who do not. So there's that.
My wife won't even walk past that place. She's so anti-seafood. Like anytime we go to the beach club and I'm like, okay, we got to walk from the lobby to what's the lounge where we watched the national championship game with Moose the one night marathon
Martha's Vineyard. Yeah.
For the lobby to Martha's Vineyard, you'd think I'm walking her through like the trash dump. She can't stand the smell of seafood, and it is strong. I'll get it. You know, but I like seafood, so it's fine. But yeah, it's interesting. Joanne is saying Brown Derby. That is another great call. That'd be fancy and nice and close to your hotel. But sure. If you're staying in the studios, that's your answer right there, actually. If you're staying in. All right. So next question is from Natalie. It says, I've been waiting almost a year to ask this listener question. All right, let's answer it. Hi, Mike. Thanks for answering my question. Jake and I listened to the show on our way to our anniversary dinner. It was a nice surprise for him and fun to relive that somewhat romantic moment. I also wanted to thank you for keeping me going during my 20-mile run yesterday. I'm running my first marathon in Chicago in a few weeks. It was hot yesterday morning, and I had my first run in with dehydration. I made it to about 15 miles before I had to start walking. All I could think about was how worried I was about finishing the 20, finishing the actual marathon, and where the heck is that water stop? Thank goodness it was an organized event, and I didn't need to keep looking for a 7-Eleven. I put the BOGP on, and I was able to distract myself enough to get to the next water stop. Eventually, I felt good enough to get across that finish line. I honestly don't think I could have done it without you all in my ears. One more thank you to Pam for her comments on how we all need a little more grace. Amen to that. Lots of love, Natalie. So not really a question. That was actually a follow-up to her question we had on an earlier show. But Pam, that makes me feel good that people trust us to be in their ears for 20 miles. That's because as a runner, you just, the smallest things will bug you, like at mile 17. And then on a podcast, because I listen, that's all I listen to when I run. I go on runs every morning. And there's some mornings I don't want to be out there. I'm just running. I'm like, oh, just getting on my nerves. So if you stick with us for 20 miles, God bless you, Natalie. Thanks for that.
That's right. I so totally agree. I mean, I will just say it's funny because when we walk in the morning, we typically walk in the afternoon, but we walk in the morning and I always say it's anger that fuels us on because everything's irritating to me. The people who don't share the sidewalk well, they irritate me. And you know what I mean? So we do a lot of things that could be annoying, I'm sure. So anyways, we appreciate that. And I'm glad the Grace comment was helpful. I actually have a little sticky on my computer right here in the corner that talks about grace that I need to show a little and hope that I get a little. So yeah, grace.
I'm glad you have that on your computer every time we record. Have pity on me. Have pity on me. I'm doing the best I can.
That's right.
Speaking of euphemisms, we have the new t-shirts, sweatshirts, and we've seen lots of listeners wearing these with the newly designed by Ricky have a hashtag freaking magical day swag. It looks really good. I got to give Ricky credit. She did a good job designing that thing. Dennis is in the chat right now. He's got one that he's going to wear down to Walt Disney World. It's a thing. Scott sent me a message the other night with a hoodie. I got to get in on this because those things are pretty sweet.
They're freaking magical. Who knew, right? Who knew?
This little journey we're on. It's so fun. Next question. 96 days until Christmas at the World question. It's from Lori. Hi, gang. This will be our first time experiencing the holidays at Disney, and we are so excited. We're going to be in the Magic Kingdom on Christmas Day. We can't wait to see the parade. No, I'm just kidding. I added that just to see if you're paying attention. Shouldn't say that. Our plan is to rope drop, then leave after the conclusion of the Once Upon a they're seeing the parade, but I was joking about it being the one you see on TV, guys. but they are going to see the Mickeys Once Upon a Christmas Time at Christmas Parade at noon. I've heard that during the Very Merry Christmas Party that it snows on Main Street during the parade. Do they also do this during the holiday season once the parties have concluded? Just curious if being on Main Street should be a priority or if we can watch it from Frontierland or Liberty Square area. Also, do you think we can make it to a 12:25 p.m. Be Our Guest lunch reservation if we watch the parade in front of the Hall of Presidents? Thanks so much. Laurie's in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I hope, Lori, that your community is recovering. We are still with you guys in the Carolinas. We love you guys. So, okay, let's get to this. Does it snow? Because I was trying to think. I don't think it does snow except for during the parties, right? Am I right? I haven't been to a party or I haven't been down there for a couple of years.
Except for like the week of Christmas, all things kind of change a little bit. But I think that they reserve the snowing to the parties. But who knows when you're walking out? I mean, they could start the snowing, especially because the parties do start. You know what I mean? The parties start at like 7, so you could be walking out, and they do always have it snowing when you're walking in. So.
But she's talking about during the noontime parade.
Oh, during the noon, yeah.
On Christmas Day. I mean, if they're going to do it anytime, like for the general public, I would say Christmas Day, but I wouldn't count on it.
And I've done that during Christmas Day. I can't remember so we don't know. We don't know that.
I just ask a guest member. They probably won't know either, but at least you're asking somebody that's there. I don't know. I'll have to look into it.
I don't either.
All right, so I think it's going to be tough to make that 12:25 Be Our Guest lunch reservation if you're watching the parade. That if it's a noon parade and you're 12:25 trying to get to Be Our Guest and you're at the Hall of Presidents, you're actually not that far away. But you got to remember that when a parade is going on at Walt Disney World, traffic is diverted and you may have to go like the longest way in the world around the park. So I would say it's going to be a little tight. Now, if you watch it on Main Street, I'm trying to think. If you watch it on Main Street and you go through Tomorrowland, because you're gonna have to go around it. But I mean, you're gonna be at I don't know, would that be the end of the parade or the beginning of the parade? It depends which way it starts. I guess it would start.
Maybe you want to change where you're going to watch the parade and try to do it. Where are you going to? Where's she going to?
Going to Be Our Guest. They have a 12:25 lunch reservation and it's a noon parade. That's going to be tight because the parade.
No, you're right. The Hall of Presidents will be able to cut back through past the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, you have to go to Fantasyland and then go that. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, you're going to have to go through swimming through Fantasyland, of course, which is always a joy. But it will be a little tight. But I think that they'll show a little grace.
I do. We'll have to be there right at 12:25. Just to get caught in parade. Right. All right, yeah. The next question: lunch with a view, maybe. From Christian, and it says, good morning, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. First, thank you for putting this podcast together. My brother introduced me to the BOG podcast a couple of months back when I booked my family's Walt Disney World trip. You guys have become my stress relief on my daily drives to and from work. I look forward to getting in the car each day to get a little bit of Disney in my life and make my trip feel a little closer. I love that. We're taking away stress. We're like a gigantic stress ball, or as my daughter calls them, they're called squishies, and she pays like $7 for them. And I'm like, all it is like a 50-cent stress ball that you could get out of one of those claw machines. But I'm not going to go into that. Okay, on to her question. We'll be taking my then 4-year-old daughter to Walt Disney World for her first trip at the end of April 2019. I'm currently planning out my ADRs and stuck on Animal Kingdom. My original plan was an ADR for lunch at Sanaa, as I've never been to the Animal Kingdom Lodge and I'm dying to see it. My plan is to start our day at the Animal Kingdom, do what attractions we can at her age, then have a nice lunch and leisurely afternoon back at our resort, Art of Animation. My whole reason for picking Sanaa is to eat lunch while watching the animals for my little one. Can I request a table with a view when making my ADR? Or maybe call and specify at a later time. If not, I might look to just stay in the park for lunch and tour the resort later in the day. Backup lunch recommendations in the park are also welcome just in case. Thanks you all for so much for all the help you've given me so far. Christian is in New Orleans, Louisiana. All right, so let's see if I'm right here, Pam. As far as I know, when you're making the ADR, you can't specifically ask for a table with a view. However, you can do this upon checking in with the host or hostess. And if you have a little kid there and, you sound excited and you're willing to wait maybe an extra 10 minutes, you could probably get a good table at Sanaa, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would. In fact, they actually say that during the booking process that you can't make requests for specific tables or whatnot, but you can when you get to the podium because the podium will be better able to assess, what kind of weight you would have and give you a better idea of that. So absolutely. I usually, when I have something in particular I'm really looking for, I go up and of course I'm sweet as can be. And then also I'm like, we would like to sit here. We're willing to wait a little extra time. We understand, that other people may have the same request we do. We just, want to let you know. And they usually try to be really accommodating. So.
And slip them a George Washington when you're doing it. You'll be good. Or maybe I don't know. So so she says backup plan though, someplace to eat in Animal Kingdom in case they decide not to go the Sanaa route. I would say especially with it being lunch and with it being just you're kind of wanting to get back to Art of Animation to kind of have a leisurely afternoon. I would say think counter service at Animal Kingdom Lodge. You got places like Satuli Canteen, you have Flame Tree Barbecue, you got Harambe Market. If you want to sit down, I really like Yak and Yeti. What else would you say to maybe think about and consider if they don't want to go outside of the park?
I think that Animal Kingdom is one of those places that has a lot of great places to eat, especially quick service locations. They have, I think, better quick service options than all the other, parks. Mike, of course, mentions the Chole Canteen, which has become a favorite of all of ours. We just really like it. There's just so many great choices, but I agree. Flame Tree is good as well. Yak and Yeti, even the sit-down place or the quick service location, they both have good options. Tiffin's is fancy, but the food's great there. You may want to consider that as well.
And Mr. Daniel Cisneros from New Mexico is saying that he did ask for the window table at check-in at Sanaa, and they did, and they were great about it. So again, just be nice, and odds are in your favor is what I say. Well,
that's right.
Guaranteed, you can stack the odds in your favor. All right, the next question: WTF? What the fireworks for spring 2019? I have no idea what WTF stands for, but let's go with it. Here we go. Josh says, "Howdy from Wyoming." Yes, another state to check off. Wyoming in the house. Hey guys, love the show. Been listening for a couple of months as we begin planning our 10-person trip to the world for March 2019. We have kids as little as 5 and adults for every decade as well as one in a wheelchair. We had planning on DHS for Sunday, our first day in the park, and Galactic Spectacular to cap off a great evening, especially since we have so many Star Wars fans. However, when I checked today, it looks as though the fireworks have been canceled. Is this accurate? Do you have an alternative solution? All right, so he has one other question, but totally unrelated. So they're looking for the fireworks, the Star Wars fireworks, and he says they've been canceled. What I'm guessing, Pam, in an instance like this, that they're going to do fireworks, but maybe the schedule is just not updated to where it should be. We're still in September and this is for March. Is that your guess?
Yeah. For some reason, Hollywood Studios in particular, their shows don't get released on a really accurate basis until much closer to the travel dates. They always seem to be tweaking something there at Hollywood Studios. And I know that's a frustration for folks, but just know it'll be, around closing time, and plan on, being able to take advantage of that if that's important to you. But I think they'll probably be there. The only way that they wouldn't is if someone rented out the park and it closed a little early. But they typically don't allow that to happen, during spring break time. So hopefully that won't be the case. But yeah, I know, it's so funny. Disney has really conditioned us all, right, to plan in advance, right? I mean, you're like 6 months out and you feel like you're behind the 8 ball because you haven't done all these things. And I will say I absolutely realize that everyone's vacation, there are things you get in your head that you really want to do. Because we all do that. I think whether this is your first time or your 100th time, you have goals for that trip. But there are many trips when I haven't been able to do what I thought I wanted to do, and it all worked out okay. So there's plenty of stuff to keep you going. So
I just figured out what WTF stands for, Josh.
Why the fireworks?
Where's the fireworks?
That's
I
right.
see that on Twitter sometimes too. So now I know it's where's the fireworks. Anyway, second part of this question. They're trying to decide between California Grill or Be Our Guest for our last special meal of the trip. Do you have a suggestion or a recommendation? They're 181 days out from Pop Century and 2016 miles away. So this is kind of we're talking to Pam here. Okay. So honestly, would you pick California Grill or Be Our Guest? Two very kind of different experiences. One's at a resort, one's in a theme park. One's slightly more elegant, one's more themed. I mean, really can't go wrong. But what would you give to Josh with his thoughts there?
Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to dine at Be Our Guest since they've made the switch to the prefix meal. And I've read some reviews of it, and people seem generally happy. But I always feel like the restaurants outside of the parks sort of do a better job at the whole food thing. And I will say, too, at California Grill, you have that beautiful fireworks and Magic Kingdom view. So you may want to consider that. But look at the menus and see. I mean, when someone's in doubt, I always tell them, look at the menus because, one may really appeal more to you than the other. But I think you're just going to get a better overall experience when you dine at California Grill. So.
And I follow this Twitter account. It's just a random kind of like robot Twitter account, but it has something. It's like things you should know or something like that. And one of the tips that I read this morning that I think might come into favor here for you is that when you can't make a decision between two things, flip a coin. But here's the deal: when it's in the air and flipping, which your heart's going to tell you which one you want, because you're going to be like, oh man, I hope it lands on heads because heads is California Grill. Like when it's don't worry about what it lands on. But when you flip it, you got to do it for real. Like whatever, like that'll give you the second of, man, I hope it ends in, this. I've heard that. And actually that kind of does make sense. Anytime I've ever gone 50-50 and I do something like at random, I do kind of have a favorite at that point for some reason.
I know. I think because that's your like last opportunity to kind of like really hope for something, right? And your unconscious mind sort of is like, the truth comes out right there. So yeah, I think that's interesting.
You should call 407 WDW Dine and have them on the line with your credit card as the thing's in the air, so you can't go back. Like you got to make it high stakes. So there you go. All right, let's get to the last question of the day. It is titled "Not Without My Baby." It's from Neely. Thanks so much for all you guys do, listening all the time in Texas while preparing for our trip to Disney World on October 18th. My husband and I are taking our 5-year-old and our 3-year-old. However, we decided to leave our 8-month-old behind with grandparents. This is mainly my husband's decision. He's going to be in trouble because he wants to get the most out of it for both of us to be able to experience everything with the 2 older kids. However, I'm having major mom guilt over leaving the baby behind. Is there anything that y'all can tell me to make me feel better about leaving behind my precious boy? Pros, cons, in other words, make me feel better. Thanks so much, Neely. Well, it kind of sounds like, I hope this turns out well for the husband because you mentioned it's his idea already. I'm already kind of sweating for him a little bit, especially that first night, because I would imagine the first night's going to be a little rougher than the rest of the trip. I think that usually sets in kind of within the first 24 hours of being apart. Pam, you're a mother. Help Neely out. I'm just a dad.
It's hard. It's really hard. So I will say that when Hannah was about a year old, we actually left her with my parents as we went to Walt Disney World. And the reason we did that, and we traveled without her every year, at least once during her life. And the reason we did that is because Steve and I always say, like, the most important thing that we can give our daughter is parents who care about each other, and things like that really made, kind of make that possible, the sort of reconnecting through a vacation. Now, I understand your circumstances are a little different because you'll have other kids that are going with you, right? Mm-hmm. That was part of it. So.
Yeah, they have 2 kids that are 5 and 3. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So think of it as an opportunity, I think, to spend with the other kids and really focus on those kids. I think, during that first year when you have a newborn, not that you aren't focused on the other kids too, but the demands of a newborn. The newborn sort of demands your attention in a way that's hard to ignore. So it is a great opportunity to spend time with the other kids and just really focus on them and doing stuff, with them that they want to do that just honestly, if you're honest, wouldn't be possible if your youngest was there. So, but I'm not going to say this is going to be an easy thing. It was not easy. I remember leaving. I mean, even leaving Hannah overnight when she was little was like heartbreaking. But you know what? As long as you have people that care about your child, then everything will be okay. So
I mean, it is going to be rough, but I think Pam nailed it. Hit the nail on the head here. Is that you got to see it, because it's one of those glass half full, glass half empty kind of situations where you got to see the joy that the 5 and the 3-year-old are having, where they have you. This is all about you and them without the baby, which I'm sure they love their little brother. I think it's a little boy. But I mean, it's a chance where they get to just have you by themselves now for a little bit, just for, a brief time. And you got to realize that the little one is probably going to have these trips coming along, but just not this time. And then, this boy's not going to hold it against you. He's 8 months old. He's not going to remember, but I know it's going to be tough. I mean, all that being said, I remember, because Pam surprised me on my first Father's Day. She was born in January. Father's Day comes in June, and she told me, wake up, we're going to Marceline. And I was like, well, what about Mallory? She's staying with my mom. She's 6 months old. And I was kind of a mess because we had never been away from Mallory for any time. She spent the night with Pam's parents, and it was tough. But I mean, I got to have a great overnight in Marceline, staying in the Uptown Theater, and had a great experience. But it was rough. I mean, it was kind of tough, but I mean, you got to focus in the experience that you're in, and you're going to have an amazing time, especially with the 5 and the 3-year-old deserve it. And they're going to have amazing times, and you're going to talk about that forever. And you're going to have trips with all 5 of you, I'm sure, moving on for the rest of your life. So I would say, I'd say once you get past the first 24 hours, you're probably better off. When you think, Pam, I mean, you just got to kind of, just know everything's good. You get there, you get settled, you go to a park, you call home. Is everything good? Yeah, everything's great. And then have fun. Right.
Yep. Absolutely. Yes. Just go and enjoy. I mean, for me, I think when everyone travels, it's like all of the things, the stress that the things you have to get done before you go sort of put you in that mode where you're like, oh man, why am I even doing this? I mean, of course, why you're doing it, but I think everyone has those thoughts, right? Like, is this even worth it? And then for me, the second I get to the airport, I'm like, okay, there's nothing else I can do to prepare myself for it at this point. So you got to just go with it and enjoy, focus on what you're there for.
Absolutely. Please follow up with an email when you get back. They'd love to hear your thoughts on maybe what helped, what went well, what, maybe was a challenge, because again, we have a huge audience, and there's other people in your situation as well. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today's question show. Thank you so much for the wide variety of questions. We love those so very much. Don't forget, today's show is brought to you by our friends over at virtualmickey.com. They've got some great apps. They've got Theme Park News Disney Edition that you can read every morning on your Apple device as you're having your Cocoa Puffs or your Fruit Loops or whatever you have, your peanut butter toast with an egg on top of it. Catch up on all the news in the Disney parks, the Disney company, the movies and everything else. And it's a free iOS app, which is really, really awesome. And you can tell Ricky's not here because I don't know what we're reading about this week. There's plenty of news. I just don't want to go into another 20 minutes of the show because there's so much that's happened in the last 15 minutes as we're recording that I'm not going to jump into it. So read it, check it out, download it today. It looks great on iOS 12. Theme Park News, Disney Edition, free for your iOS device over at virtualmickey.com. Thanks again to everybody who supports the show with our Amazon affiliate link. Anytime you do that online shopping, please just click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon and give us a follow on the social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at beourguestmike and at beourguestpod. And of course, we've got a great Facebook group at facebook.com/beourguestpodcast. All right, we're going to be back on Friday. Pam and I are coming at you with 19 reasons to visit Walt Disney World in 2019. It's going to be magical. It's going to be fun. It's going to be mouse-galicious, or what is it? Nope, maybe not mouse-galicious. It's going to mouse-dance it. We're going to have a good time talking about why to go to Walt Disney World in 2019. A top 19 list coming your way this Friday. But until then, it's time to head back to work. So for Pam, I'm Mike, and Ricky's somewhere out on the Disney magic still. Having a good time, sending us pictures, making me jealous. We're going to get out of here and see you on Friday. Have a great week. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. All righty. Good job, Facebook. I'll save that one. Yes, living the dream, Eric. Not teaching right now. 86. But I hear about it every day because my wife's still a teacher. Making me happy that I'm not many days when her kids get in fights.
That's not fun.
Stella's going down in 31 days.
Oh man.
That'll almost be Halloween. That is so fun. So fun. Oh, I love Halloween. Halloween's fun. All right, let's do this. Let's see. 19 magical new and limited time experiences coming to Walt Disney World Resort in 2019. Mickey's birthday in October, right?
Mickey's birthday is November.
Okay. That's nothing to do with that then. It's just I just keep eating all the Oreos. That's all I know because they're sitting on the kitchen table. I take one at a time, like it matters. Like my stomach's like, oh, if you only take one, you don't.
I'm like, you share a birthday with Mickey, and he's like, oh, do I really? Like, I'm like, we've talked about this before.
It's new news. Breaking news. Is something being built at Caribbean Beach? I mean, they got the new restaurants in the whole town center area.
The new Riviera.
Yeah, the Riviera Hotel. Yeah. The DVC.
That's kind of big.
Yeah, it's big. And the gondola system is going to be kind of connecting through there.
Gondola.
You got to say it like, I got to use my Memoji to go gondola. Because when you make a big face like that, it's when it looks cool. I love those things. Once you get your phone, you'll be sitting there. Just Pam was like, "What are you doing? Making another Memoji?" I'm like, "Yep, talking to Scott." Is a big dinosaur head. Okay, I know. She's like, "You have too much time on your hands." Actually, I'm like, "I don't, but I should be doing other things. It's just too much fun." All right, so okay, here we go. This is for Friday, 1387. Welcome to episode 1387 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. It is Mizzou's bye week, so I'm focused totally on Disney this weekend and having a great time with my family. Hopefully you are as well. We are getting ready to talk about the great destination that you and I just love to travel to, and that is Walt Disney World. And speaking of Walt Disney World, we have an expert in traveling to this awesome place in Central Florida. We have Pam Forrester. She's the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. What's going on, Pam? Any big plans for this weekend? What are you guys doing?
I am packing so that I can get ready for my trip to Alone. So I'm starting the packing process at least this weekend, so that I have just a good sense of what I need to pack. But I'm thinking it's pretty much bathing suit and cover up and another bathing suit and other cover ups and yet some more maybe. So that's going to figure heavy in the rotation while we're there, because I'm going to be soaking up all those moments in the pools, in the ocean. We're going to be going to the North Shore and, doing stuff like that. So really looking forward to it.
Any tips for traveling, a great distance, like going from Pittsburgh all the way over to the Hawaiian Islands? I mean, what have you learned? Because that's quite a journey. Is there anything that can make the trip more comfortable, like a hack that you've learned?
I am a big believer in taking a travel blanket. It's something that I think makes it so that I can fall asleep easier on the plane. I mean, when you're going to be going for a long distance, that's your challenges. You need to get some sleep at some point, and having anything that can help you do that. I take one of the travel pillows, like kind of try one out to see what works for you. Some people like the neck pillows. Some people like, just a bigger pillow that kind of compresses, something like that. And definitely an eye mask, because and a comfortable one, because it blocks out the light and stuff like that. There's not a lot of things to make that more comfortable. I'm going to tell you this. There just aren't. Think about bringing your own water with you, so you're not relying on, the airline to give you some. But other than that, I mean, just go and enjoy. It is what it is. This is what you have to do to get to some of these beautiful places in the world, right? I mean, if it wasn't something spectacular and it was just right in your backyard, you'd go do it every weekend and you get tired of it. So anyways.
Good point. If I got one of those eye masks, I'd have to get one that has like the big, like gigantic eyes, look like they're open. It's something that would freak out everybody else on the plane. That'd be so fun.
No, right?
That'd be awesome. All right. So today You might have seen this on the Disney Parks blog not too long ago. We're going to talk about the 19 magical new and limited time experiences that are coming to Walt Disney World in 2019. So I got excited for this because, of course, you're a Disney fan. I'm a Disney fan. Pam is a Disney fan. We love going to Walt Disney World, and we're probably going to go anyway, even if these 19 things did not happen. But it's always exciting when Disney comes up with, little new things. I mean, you're probably, I'll be honest, I looked at the list. Pam looked at the list. We kind of giggled. We thought some of these things were fun. We kind of both agreed before we ever started recording today's podcast that you and I probably aren't going to plan a vacation because of most of these things. However, I think it's fun to have new experiences, especially for folks like us that are return travelers, that are invested in the Disney parks, that love going just for the nuances, the new experiences. I think a good example of this past summer was, something that was very kind of under the radar initially, but I think a lot of people enjoyed it, was the stuff that went over. And I didn't even see it because I'm not into the characters too much, but like Chip and Dale dressed up like dinosaurs at Animal Kingdom. I mean, that got a lot of positive feedback, and who'd have thunk, right, Pam? I mean, did you kind of see that too? I was like, that's kind of strange, but people loved it.
I know. You know what? They all looked so cute. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, how I love it when they dress up Chip and Dale in something. I mean, that's adorable. Come on now. Everyone can't, you can't always see something like that. So I thought that was really cute. I think oftentimes some of the things that they don't think are going to be a big deal, become something really incredible. I absolutely forgot to take advantage of seeing Edna Mode when we were down there this summer, and I really wanted to do that. So, thankfully, it looks like I might be able to do that. So,
I just watch NCISLA, and Edna Mode is on that show. I'm not kidding. She's like their boss. That's
Edna Mode. Is she?
Yeah, I think so. Let me know if you tweet me at BRGuestMike. Do you think that too? Okay, so let's go. Starting on January 18th. So, and again, I was so bummed. I'm leaving on like the 14th after marathon weekend. They knew this. They don't want the marathoners to get any of these 19 fun things squeezed into. They're messing with us. Even though you're running 48.6 miles if you're doing dopey, you don't get to do these 19 things unless you come back, which I probably will. So number one, we're going to kind of ping pong back and forth. Number one, in honor of the true originals, Mickey and Minnie Mouse, Mickey and Minnie's surprise celebration will bring new music, dancing, and all sorts of fun to the Magic Kingdom Park. So
okay.
That's good. I mean, that's one of those things. I guess it's a castle show, maybe, or I guess, well, no, that's not the street party. So I guess maybe a little surprise party on the castle forefront stage.
That's what I'm guessing. But if that isn't enough to entice you, we have more. Okay. They have the Move It, Shake It, Mouse-ka Dance It street party. So the Move It, Shake It will become the Move It, Shake It, Mouse-ka Dance street party. And you know what? People do love that parade. So you'll get a chance to dance with Mickey and Minnie in front of Cinderella's castle. So again, that could be, that could be something that you look forward to. And in addition, they're going to be belting out new arrangements of the classic Mickey Mouse Club song. And actually, there's one that plays on the television when you're there, in the Coming Attractions channel, which I actually kind of like. So I hope that will be featured in the new Mickey Mouse Club renditions that they're going to be performing.
So you probably haven't seen the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse in quite a while, considering that, Hannah is now a teacher and not a small child anymore. But, I still remember the days. You know how at the end of the show, they would do the hot dog dance?
Yes.
Okay, so who do you think had the best moves? I go Goofy on the hot dog.
Oh, Goofy. There's no question about that. Are you kidding? Goofy's joints did something that shouldn't be able to happen. I'm just saying this about Goofy. So, yes, Goofy had it going on at the hot dog dance. Absolutely.
If they don't stop in front of Casey's and do the hot dog bomb, missing synergy, people. That is so synergy.
Right?
They all need to do hot dog moves right in front of Casey's. Right. Anyway, number 3, the Dapper Dans and other entertainers on Main Street USA at the Magic Kingdom will sing songs in honor of Mickey and Minnie. You think they'll sing, "Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind"?
Oh, they might. Maybe they're listening right now. We're going to give them, some songs that they could judge up. Yes, I love that. I hope that they do sing that. The next one is that you can look for special Mickey and Minnie themed merchandise and food. Hello. I'm wondering, wait, do you think there will be a cupcake?
No way. No way.
Do you think it?
You put it in at number 4 of 19 to try to sneak it by us, but you cannot get, you're not getting that by these journalism folks like us. We're not.
That's right. We queued right in. There's going to be, I'm guessing, a cupcake. I'm guessing probably some special Rice Krispie treats, right? Don't you think?
Absolutely. Apples. I covered
apples. A drink. Remember, they've been doing some interesting thing with drinks lately. Yeah, I think.
Okay, for number 5, though, as this is a surprise celebration after all, so you can expect more limited time magic entertainment and other experiences to pop up periodically around the Magic Kingdom Park. That just sounds like they're keeping their options open.
That's right. That's right. Future updates is warranted, as they say.
We could turn this list of 19 into 119, as Stacy might say.
That's right. Okay, so here's something I am excited about. The Incredibles are coming to Disney's Hollywood studio, and Pixar Avenue will transform into Metroville City Block. Mr. Incredible, Mrs. Incredible, and Frozone are throwing a party to celebrate. So I'm hoping that means that we get to see those folks again, because those were some great photo opportunities. I think they really were. So love the Incredibles.
That was 6 and 7, and all I gotta say is Frozone better say, "Woman, where's my super suit?"
No, 7 is you get to meet Edna.
Oh, okay, sorry. No, that's 8. You're not following along. My list is different than yours, but mine is 8. Meet the one and only Edna Mode, also backed up in our Facebook Live chat by Craig and Jocelyn, saying that her name is Eddie on the show, and her actual name is Linda Hunt, and she is, in fact, Edna Mode in real life. But you can meet her, one of the greatest super suit designers. She will set up a special location on Pixar Place showcasing some of her best creations. No case. So don't bring it. So you are excited, though. They're redeeming you. They're giving you a chance in 20.
I know.
Do what you didn't do in 2018, which is meet Edna.
I know. I love Edna. She's absolutely one of my favorite characters. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. You're going to be able to continue to show your hashtag Incredible side on Pixar Avenue. And you'll be able to strike a heroic pose in front of 3-dimensional scenes straight out of Pixar's Animation Studios Incredibles. And the great thing about those was they had those this summer during the Incredible Summer, and some of those looked very realistic. Like, you know what I mean? When you saw the pictures that people were taking there, you were like, where is that? Like, how did I not notice that before? But it was just a 3D, like a photo op. And it was really cool. So, I mean, I think that's awesome that they're doing stuff like that.
And apparently we're coming from 2 different lists from 2 different websites, because I think you're on the Travel Agent website. I'm on the Parks blog. But anyway, we might have more than 19, because who cares? We're going to Walt Disney World in 2019, people. So
that's right.
On my list, this is number 9. It says also on Pixar Place, look for clues as to the whereabouts for the youngest Incredible, the mischievous and multi-powered
Jack.
We have to find Jack. Is this something like over at Epcot during the Flower and Garden Festival, where sometimes you have to find Easter eggs or something like that?
Maybe.
Huh. I don't know.
Maybe.
You know what I really like that they did? I think they did this they did do it this past summer in Tomorrowland. And they took this from Cruise Line. They did the Jack Diaper Dash in Tomorrowland.
Right.
I love that. I know it doesn't really fit the theme. If you're a thematic person, you're like, oh my gosh, Walt would die if you did a Jack Diaper Dash in Tomorrowland. I get that. It totally doesn't fit. But I just love seeing toddlers crawling to their parents and going the wrong way. Like, that's good family fun right there.
So maybe, I don't know what this will be. Some of these, I think they're probably still working on the details, I'm going to say. But.
So I think this is the first copy of the list. All right, give us another one from your list. I think we're all off the place, but let's keep.
No, we're back on, I think. At Hollywood Studios, a door to the Monster World will open inside Walt Disney Presents, where you'll have the chance to meet Mike and Sully. So that's going to be really cute. I remember when you could meet Mike and Sully at the studios. It was kind of sad when they were gone, because they're sort of unique characters to see, but to be able to meet them again will be great.
They are. Didn't you used to beat them back by the Backlot Express, kind of in that area?
Yep. Yeah.
They're good characters to meet too. They're fun.
They are. They are.
Number 11. Now, here we go. Celebrate the 25th anniversary of Walt Disney Pictures' The Lion King. God, is The Lion King 25 years old? Are you kidding me?
That's frightening.
Okay, people, we're old. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. 25 years old. At Disney's Animal Kingdom, along with Timon and Rafiki in the Hakuna Matata time dance party on Discovery Island. Let your inner animal roam free on the dance floor in this raucous party. So are you ready to get raucous with Timon and Rafiki at the Hakuna Matata time dance party on Discovery Island? Are you going to shake your tail feather, Pam? What do you think?
Absolutely. And you know what's good? Even if you don't like participating in the dance party, sometimes if you just hang back and watch the antics, it's worth it, because you will have some kids who are out there who do this like it's their job. Like they are that serious about it.
Life depends on how well you dance.
That's right. And they are, I love seeing that. Like, I'm like, dude, that is dedication. Like, I want to go up to parents sometime and be like, that kid, you need to get him in some kind of play or dance production or something, because he takes this serious. So anyways, no, that's a fun thing.
I'll say though, my favorite characters to dance with of all time, and I've done my share of dance parties at like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. They kind of started the dance parties at the hard ticket events, like at the Halloween and the Christmas parties, 10 years ago. And now I've seen on social media, they're kind of everywhere. People are kind of either pro dance party or anti dance party. It's kind of one of those things. There's not a lot of ground in the middle for this one, but I will say that, they're fun for the kids. A lot of times the families don't, the adults don't tend to dance unless you're like, you got to realize that when you're on Disney vacation, you can be a kid. You can get out there and have fun as an entire family. It's okay. I used to say nobody's watching, nobody's filming it. Yeah, probably 17 people are posting on Instagram, but who cares? Who cares? Just have fun. They're probably not tagging you. They don't know who you are unless you have a podcast or something and you're looking dumb. But I'm just saying, like, the best dancers I've seen of the Disney characters are the incredible characters.
Oh
now,
my gosh.
Timon and Pumbaa are going to do, but I'm telling you, Frozone, Mrs. Incredible, Mr. Incredible, they have some serious moves over in Tomorrowland. I've seen them.
Absolutely. I will tell you, out in California Adventure, one of the, the Pixar Play Parade parades, they have Flick from A Bug's Life at different times. And he pulled me out one time into the parade. Well, Flick's behind is kind of elongated like an ant.
I think that's called his thorax.
His thorax is very long. And he turned around quick and knocked me down.
Shut up. You got thorax by Flick.
I was like, oh my goodness. So it can be dangerous, but it was worth it because I was out there dancing with Flick. But yeah.
There was a song in the 80s called Doing the Thorax. Don't by EU. I used to play it at wedding receptions, Doing the Thorax. Anyway, some people will get that if you're high into 80s music. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so I'll have to do that. It's no yacht rock, but
yeah.
Okay, so the next thing is at Animal Kingdom, you're also going to have the 3-dimensional photo opportunities, recreating scenes from the animated classics. So again, another photo opportunity. I think it's a good, in 2019, you know what you're going to want to have? Memory Maker. Just saying. You do want the
value, because think about that though. 2 years ago, we came out and it was like, oh man, it's like $169 for your pictures. Nobody's going to get that. But what I'm seeing and what I think this is just, it gets down to this. Like when I try to think about Memory Maker, because I try to save money just like the next guy, because there's certain things I'm super cheap about, and there's certain things that I'm just stupid when I spend my money, like Apple products and Disney vacations. Like I want to have the best. I want to do that. But I think with Memory Maker, what it boils down to is you are preserving memories and you're getting shots that are impossible to get with your phone. As great as an iPhone is, and the new, cameras and all the augmented stuff you can do with an iPhone and apps, you still can't get those on-ride videos. If you buy them a la carte, you may as well buy Memory Maker. But I think it's just, it captures your vacation in a way that you really can't. 5 years from now, $169, what's that to have that package of memories available for everybody?
No, I agree. I think it's one of the best concepts that Disney came up out with to sort of add to the vacation experience, because it does provide, I think, photos in a way that you just can't create yourself. I mean, with the magic shots, with the getting the whole family together, how many people do you think use a memory maker photo for their holiday cards each year? I mean, that in itself. So it's just a really cool thing.
All righty. The next thing I'm actually excited about because I've never been there and I got to get down there for this. It's the Epcot International Festival of the Arts coming back this year. Special event takes place January 18th through February 25th, allowing you to indulge in world-class culinary, visual, and performing arts. And the thing is, like, if somebody like me can get excited for this festival, which again, I want to get down there because my thing is, here's how I see this. I'm not artistic at all. I'm not super creative. I am just kind of your basic like sports fan, Midwestern guy. You know, I don't have a lot of, I don't go to Broadway shows, never been. I've gone to Lion King when it came through town like years ago, back in 2003, I think it was. But I don't go to like, live theater very much. I don't go to concerts. But the thing is, like, I think this is, and I've heard such great reviews of this festival, and it's a time of year where it's comfortable down there. It's great temperatures, and everything I've seen from like the foods that are created, the artists they bring in to create their art live, and to see, a painting coming to life that was a blank sheet of paper and now it's some fantastic piece of art. I love this idea. I got to get down. This is actually something that would draw me to Walt Disney World, to get to see this over a weekend, or, do something like that. I mean, I know that there's kind of a debate on, are there too many festivals at Epcot? Is there not enough time where Epcot's just Epcot other than the summer? I mean, what do you think about this festival? Because it really does get me excited, and I'm not an artsy person at all.
So I think the format of Epcot, with it having the countries, and then that space in the front really sort of lends itself to hosting sort of that. And in Walt's original concept, he was sort of thinking of a World's Fair sort of thing, and they would have food booths and things like that. So it doesn't take away from the experiencing of Epcot as it is Epcot without the festivals. I think it just enhances it a little bit. And I have to say, this Festival of the Arts has sort of been a sleeper in terms of how cool of a festival this is. When we're there for it, it's like, I feel like that food at the food booths is really sort of kicked up a notch. It's stunningly beautiful. Really, each booth has a theme, and it's interesting to take that. But we've also found it to be really tasty too. But yeah, it's kind of a work of art. And we love seeing that.
When I think about this festival, just because I haven't been to it yet, obviously it's a very young festival, so only the second year. But the thing I think about it is, when you think of Walt Disney World, this is like celebrating. It's kind of like bringing an all-star team to what they do. Think about it. Like, their restaurants are known for making not only delicious items, but visually stunning items that almost you don't want to eat. Like, you want to at least take 9 pictures for Instagram. Well, speaking of like the people doing this podcast, like when we all sit down at a table, nobody touches the food until everybody takes a picture of every plate. Then we can, I mean, I've been trained, and sometimes we even bring little lights to light up our food for Instagram. I mean, it's crazy, but the thing is like, they celebrate that, and who better to do things like art? I mean, think about every motion picture, every animated feature that Walt Disney World. I mean, if you take the individual cell of any of those things, it's art. It's beautiful. The food is beautiful. Think about art as far as visual arts and songs and music. I mean, that is what Disney does. I mean, this was like a no-brainer, but it just came into being last year. But I mean, it's like, this is just Disney doing what they do in a way to celebrate it in the middle of the winter when you really need something to do.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it does. Again, it has a photo pass element to it where you get to stand and be part of the art during this festival. So I really like it. So I'm looking forward to having it come back this year. And the next one of the things that you can look forward to is actually part of this. It will be the Disney on Broadway concert series is expanded to 7 days a week during the Festival of the Arts. So you'll have even more opportunities to experience some musical magic live on stage. And again, this is something that a lot of folks don't get to see, but it's worth seeing and part of that Festivals of the Arts celebration. So,
and I think this, the Disney on Broadway concert series is a great idea because, like I said, I've never gone to New York. I've never gone to a Broadway play. I've gone to see The Lion King as it toured the country, and it stopped at our Fox Theater here in St. Louis. And not only did it get me to see our awesome theater, which is like 100 years old, but it's been refurbished, and to be able to see what a play is like with, the puppeteering of Lion King on stage and all that, and the familiar music, but that show has songs that are not in the animated film. It was very moving, and I think this is aimed right at me, somebody that's at Walt Disney World having a great time with their family, but maybe doesn't know what the Broadway experience is about. But when you go hear the talent of these performers and see the visuals, but also how awesome and how emotional those songs can be from Disney classics brought to you in a live, it's kind of like the first time I saw, and I know this isn't the exact same level, but when I saw Finding Nemo, the musical at Animal Kingdom, as a dad, it was emotional. And when I saw Festival of the Lion King at Animal Kingdom, it wasn't so much emotional, but it was so high energy that I was like, God, that was so cool that was live right in front of me. The Tumble Monkeys were actually doing all these crazy stunts, and the talent of the voice singers, the man who sings and the woman. I mean, it's like, it's like, wow, like that is incredible that they can sing that way. I think that's what would get you to go see a show back home, because you get introduced to it as part of your day at Epcot. And then you're like, man, I need to see a little more of that when it comes through town.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really cool experience. I mean, we've talked about this on the podcast before, but I think for so many kids and adults alike, it's like, that the music that you hear in the movies is produced by people, right? And instruments, but seeing it is a completely different thing. And I still go back to way back when I was a young kid and Star Wars had come out, and the Pops concert series came through and actually played at my elementary school. And it was like, what? Someone playing instruments creates the theme from Star Wars? Really? So, I mean, it's just that kind of stuff. And that's what can happen with this as well. So, yeah.
So later in the year, we have some new stuff. So what else do we have going on for those people that can't get down there in early 2019?
Well, so again, Flower and Garden Festival is coming back, and this year it's going to be there March 6th through June 3rd. So it's a long time to be there. And I think the Flower and Garden Festival is really something that's getting as big as Food and Wine. I mean, there's food booths, there's flowers, there's so many things to do. I don't think Epcot looks better than it does during the Flower and Garden Festival. It just, the landscaping at Disney World is always fantastic, but to be at Epcot during Flower and Garden, it looks even more spectacular. So really, really looking at that, all the topiaries and everything like that. So make plans. If you hadn't had a chance to see Flower and Garden, make plans to go down. It's a great time to visit because the weather's lovely. And I know so many families have spring break during that time. So if you haven't made plans, plan now.
And it's way more comfortable during Flower and Garden. I mean, just temperature wise and weather wise during Food and Wine. And now you got all the food booths around during Flower and Garden. So it's really
all right. Stop. No more selling points.
I know, because we want to go. We don't want to have to wait 30 minutes for the fight.
Exactly.
But I'll give you a quick hack. Look, it goes till June 3rd, and a lot of schools in the Midwest and the South get out on Memorial Day. So think about it. You could take your summer vacation early and go to Flower and Garden. How cool would that be, Pam?
Oh man, love that idea. So yeah, and like I love that you point out that the weather is nicer, because it truly is. It really is.
I mean, I know September's like, we picture September in our mind's eye as like bonfires and Ugg boots and pumpkin spice lattes. In Florida, it's just hot. It's still just hot.
Right. It's swimsuits and wondering why in the heck you have clothes that even touch you, and like, is that sweat dripping down my back? What is that? So yeah,
it's hot. All right, so let's get to the next one. Let's see. Oh, even better. It says this year's Garden Rocks concert series expands to 7 days a week during the Flower and Garden Festival, which means a total of 270 concerts over the course of the 90-day event. Boy, they go long on these events. 90 days, 270 concerts. You cannot miss Herman's Hermits this year. They will be rocking it out in Kansas, and all those bands, I'm sure, that'll be back.
I know, right? Yes. They're like cover bands, right? This is
No, I think during Flower and Garden, it's like kind of the 60s bands, but it's the real people that are still
Oh,
alive.
it is. It's the real folks. Okay. All right.
No, the Sounds Like Summer, which they didn't do this
Oh,
past year.
that's right. Okay. I'm getting confused with my concert series.
Yeah,
All
so,
right. Well,
yeah, it's kind of you know what it is kind of is like yacht rock live. You might see Michael McDonald or somebody like that. I don't know.
that would be awesome. I'd be down there for that.
That's what it is. Really, it's yacht rock. I can't even say it. Yacht rock radio brought to the stage.
Boz Skaggs will be there. So anyways, yeah. So one of the other things that's coming in the spring of 2019, and this is something we really haven't heard a lot of, is Ka-Chow, Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. In this new show experience, you'll come face to face with Lightning and learn from his years of experience on the track. So this is something again that we haven't heard much about. I don't know where it's going to be or what it's going to be, but everyone likes Lightning, so that'll be a good time.
I'm totally curious as to what this is going to be. Is it going to be like a virtual reality experience? Is it going to be a physical experience? I mean, it's going to be something they bring to the studios. Is it just going to be a meet and greet? But it doesn't sound like it, because unless they consider talking to him as learning from him about racing, I don't know what it's going to be. But I mean, I'm all about new experiences, and especially with a character like Lightning McQueen, which so many boys and girls tend to love.
Oh yeah, I mean, you've got to love Lightning. So yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
And also, they make this a separate point because they're trying to stretch the list here apparently a lot outside the race.
19's a long list to get to, Mike Rallman.
We're trying to stretch the show to 30 minutes, and it's kind of tough. But outside the Racing Academy, you get to meet Lightning McQueen's speedy pal, Cruz Ramirez, which I think is the yellow car, right? I haven't seen 3.
That's right. Yes, Cruz is.
Here we go. And finally, there's a 19, Pam. Please bring this home.
Well, this one is the ultimate in stretch if you're ready for it. And I'll read it just how Disney wrote it, just to kind of share that kind of feeling with you. If you haven't visited Walt Disney World recently, then there's even more for you to explore and experience. Become an honorary toy at Toy Story Land and Disney's Hollywood Studios. Travel to the bioluminescent planet of Pandora, the world of Avatar at Disney's Animal Kingdom, or wish a fond farewell to Illumination's Reflection of Earth, the nighttime spectacular at Epcot, before its conclusion, scheduled for the end of summer 2019.
Wait. Illuminations is going away? Wait, what? Stuck that in there in a blog post? Whoa.
That was one of the 19 reasons to visit. So, I mean, no, if you have not, though, had a chance to visit for Pandora and now Toy Story Land, I think that those are two of the more visually appealing lands that they've brought to the parks. I really love the look of Pandora still at night. I feel like it's two completely different experiences. And I kind of feel that way about Toy Story Land as well. It's a different experience at night. It has so many cool lighting effects. And just, it's something different to see. And so two of my favorite rides are in these new things. I love Flights of Passage, and I really like Slinky Dog Dash. Just they're great attractions, so I'm glad to see them there.
All right.
I don't know if it's number 19 though, but okay.
You're like, oh my gosh, it's 2019. We only have 18 things.
I'm glad there was no like bathroom reference, like lovely bathrooms. That's number 17.
Well, they kept themselves open, I think, back at number 4 with Limited Time Magic. So
that's true. Who knows? It could pop up.
Let me ask you this, though. You speak of 19 and they talk about Toy Story Land and Pandora visiting those. If you had only one night to spend at nighttime with the visuals during the dark periods, would you recommend Pandora or Toy Story Land? Which one's better?
So for me, I think that would really depend on, because I think the rides are so worth experiencing. If you could get fast pass to either one, that's absolutely going to be the one that I suggest, that you go ahead and do that. But just on looks alone, I think Pandora maybe has just a little edge over Toy Story Land. Just a tiny one.
Agreed.
What do you think? Yeah, you do? Okay.
Well, I say Pandora it's kind of like the Disneyland, Disney World argument. I say Pandora is stunning in Toy Story Land at night is whimsical. And it's
there you go. Wow, you were like pulling out, you know. Did you have a thesaurus for that? Like,
no, but I have a book full of all these words and gives alternate meanings. So I don't know. I didn't.
No, but I think that's a really good description. That could be like a tagline. I'm just saying. I think Disney should use that because it's a great description. So
1,387 times we've given Disney great information for free. We're not going
to. I know. They have to be listening, right?
I hope so. I just hope they're still listening so I can go to the Star Wars media event. I'm just saying. Come on now. I want to see the Millennium Falcon.
I know, right?
Anyway, well, so that's 19 reasons to go to Walt Disney World in 2019. Seriously,
as if we needed them.
The one thing they left off the list, isn't there like a land, speaking of Star Wars, that's going to open in 2019 that didn't make the list? I think they're kind of like, well, we don't want to talk about that quite yet. We're just going to go with some of the, this is kind of like the minor league, team of reasons to go to Walt Disney World, because we're going to bring in Babe Ruth at the end of 2019.
That's absolutely true. And he's going to be hitting home runs all day. So there's going to be a line out the door, as they say, to get in to see that. But I mean, I think for so many of us, we like to travel there often. So if you're looking for lower crowds, I think that earlier in 2019 may be a good bet for you. And then go ahead and plan your trip in 2020 to see Star Wars as you planned on. So just reminding folks that there are a few other things there besides the Star Wars land that will be opening.
Yeah, as much as we were tongue in cheek with a lot of these things that are coming in early 2019, they're fun things. I mean, this is why we go to Walt Disney World. We want to meet characters. We want to have dance parties, whether we participate in them or not. They're fun to have there as a distraction. Photo ops, the Dapper Dans, I mean, think about it, as much as it's kind of like, oh, wow, they're really celebrating that the Dapper Dans are going to sing songs to Mickey and Minnie. I mean, the Dapper Dans, to me, I mean, I can't speak for our audience, but to me, the Dapper Dans are a reason why I go to Walt Disney World. I mean, when do you get to, see such a talented barbershop quartet? I mean, it's not why I go to the Magic Kingdom, but it is a part of my Magic Kingdom day. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that what brings us all back to Walt Disney World again and again is the details, right? They always say the devil's in the details. And I think that it's all these little things that come together. And, with a Fast Pass now, I think that you do have to schedule time maybe differently in the parks, but this gives you a lot of options to do in between Fast Passes. If you don't want to, spend time waiting in line for something else, just go ahead and participate in some of these. There's not going to be a big line for them, and you're going to get to experience them. So.
And speaking of Mickey Mouse, I got to get back to my Mickey Mouse birthday Oreos that are up in the kitchen. If Mallory hasn't destroyed the whole sleeve by now, because I'm podcasting.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's going to do it for Friday's show. Hope you enjoyed it. Lots of fun to talk about, things coming for 2019 down at Walt Disney World. Today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. And when it comes time for that 2019 package, head over to themagicforless.com. Check out all the great specials. Maybe you're planning a trip to Disneyland. Maybe you want to do Adventures by Disney. Lots of fun things to do there. Of course, Disney Cruise Line, great sailings, whatever you have. And of course, the early 2020 itineraries have been announced, going fun places there. So just drop by themagicforless.com and check out everything that's happening with Disney. And while you're there, fill out that free no obligation quote, and maybe you'll get to your Disney destination sooner rather than later. So check them out. Let them know you heard about them here on the show over at themagicforless.com. And again, thanks to everybody who continues to support the show with your Amazon purchases. Just click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on the social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at beourguestmike and at beourguestpod as well. And drop by the Facebook group at facebook.com/beourguestpodcast. And Ricky's going to be back telling us all about traveling to Canada, going north on the Disney Cruise Line. Who would have thought? But you can do that. And she had a great time. I saw the pictures. She met some amazing people, had some fun meals, Pam, I'm excited for that Rapunzel experience on the Magic.
I know. It was so cute. Ricky had posted a video of that, and it looks really good. So I love that Disney Cruise Line is constantly changing. New dates are coming out.
Yes.
yesterday. So who knows where Disney Cruise Line's going. Looking forward to that. It's gonna be great. It's a great time to sail on Disney Cruise Line. They're doing some really innovative stuff.
19 things. Today felt like 119 things.
Right?
Whatever. Enough of that. This wasn't one of our best shows, but we promised to do better next week.
Right.
I mean, come on. We've done 1,387 shows. We can lay an egg once in a while.
That's right. Well,
all right. Anyway, so for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great weekend. Whatever you do, stay safe out there. And we'll see you real soon. That was a weird show.
It was.
Oh, God, that was weird. It wasn't our best, but it was a show. Have you tried Baseline Tap House? Daniel's asking. I have not.
I have many times.
There you go.
And yes, and it's good.
Good.
It's good. I like they have interesting beer selections. I wish they had a little bit more choices in terms of food. They need a couple other things. But they have a great soundtrack that plays there actually, which is available on Spotify. If you haven't looked for that yet, we found it on Spotify. So anyways, it's a great location.
Hey, thanks, Pam, for doing this afternoon. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us over your lunch period.
Thanks so much.
So, thanks. So, all right. Well, Pam, good luck with the roof.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, bye.
I hate home stuff. I hate that.
Right? I know.
All right. So we will figure something out, record some shows before you
sounds good.
To the island.
Sounds good. All right. See ya. Bye.
Facebook. Bye.
Bye, Facebook.